Amazon's my favorite way to sell print on demand. Over the years, I've sold millions of dollars of print on demand products through Amazon. So why don't more people sell print on demand through Amazon Seller Central? I want to change that. So in today's video, I want to walk you through step by step how to get started on Amazon Seller Central with the Printify integration. And then I'm going to do you one better, help you increase the odds of making your first sale and many more after, by showing you how to use Amazon Custom to sell personalized products through Amazon Seller Central. And the icing on the cake, I'm gonna show you how you can automate the personalization, personalized elements in your designs using HelloCustom. So we got a lot to cover today. I'm gonna show you everything step by step though, so you're in good hands. Let's get started. Let's get right into it, guys. The first step is to open an Amazon Seller Central account. This is different from Amazon Merch and Amazon KDP and Amazon Influencers, even though I like all the above. Amazon Seller Central is how the vast majority of products you see on Amazon are listed and available for sale. It's the most open-ended way of selling on Amazon. It's actually how I got my start selling on Amazon back in late 2016 as an Amazon FBA seller, where I imported my own brand of private label products from manufacturers around the world, listed them for sale on Amazon, and then did fulfillment by Amazon, where if you purchase them, Amazon would pick, pack, and ship it for me. Anyways, you're gonna do this for print on demand. So go ahead and click sign up on sellercentral.amazon.com and select the professional seller account, which costs $39.99 a month. You're gonna need that so that you don't have to provide UPC codes for all of your product listings. I would say that's a requirement for selling print on demand because we're gonna have a decent volume of listings, especially if you follow my method. Up next, open your free Printify account. By using Printify, it allows us to focus on scaling our business instead of having to fulfill orders manually. Whether we get one order or 1,000 orders, Printify's got our back. They will be automatically fulfilled using a printer from their massive network. Printify also has hundreds of print-on-demand products in their catalog for us to choose from, so we get to basically hit fast forward through one of the hardest parts of operating a business, which is deciding what to sell, stocking the products, and manually fulfilling orders. Printify does all of the above for us. I'll put my link to Printify in the description, and if you are new, use code RyanHogue30 and get a free 30 days of Printify Premium with even better profit margins for fulfillment. Once you're inside Printify, go to the top left corner, click My New Store, and then click Add New Store. Then you get to see all of the different sales channels, including Etsy, Shopify, TikTok Shop, Amazon, Printify pop-up shops, eBay, Squarespace, Wix, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, etc. Today we're going to focus on Amazon, okay? But I actually do love a lot of those options. Etsy, eBay specifically, and Amazon. They also used to have Walmart, which I still sell on. So after you click Amazon, you need to name your Amazon store. I'm gonna go ahead and call mine Ryan's Method, and then I'm gonna click Connect, which is behind me here. Okay, and then go ahead and say, I'm going to sell on Amazon US, and check the box, I have an Amazon seller account. If you do not have an Amazon seller account, you're kind of stuck on this step until you have that seller account open. Then go ahead and click Connect. Okay, it's gonna ask you to log into Amazon. Go ahead, use your email, your password, and then it gives you a prompt that says, are you sure you wanna allow Printify to view and edit the following data in your seller partner account? You can see what you're giving it access to right here. It's gonna require those in order to function and do everything that I mentioned earlier about fulfillment. So go ahead and agree, and then hit the confirm button that I was covering up again. So basically in 2 clicks, you've integrated your Amazon account with your Printify account. It used to be a lot more complicated back in the day, back when I got started, but now it is a mere 2 clicks. Next up, back in Printify, they're gonna ask you if you have a GTIN exemption. The way this works, I've seen this change so many times over the years, okay? It used to be complicated, then they simplified it, then they made it complicated, then they simplified it. And when I say they, I mean Amazon, okay? In its current state, as of recording this, I believe you can say that you have a GTIN exemption even if you haven't done anything, and then use the brand name generic, okay? If you do that, I believe by default, you should be allowed to publish products and not have to do anything. but I have also interfaced with people recently that didn't work for. I wish I had a consistent guarantee path forward to recommend, but given my, role here as a YouTuber and as a coach, I do interact with a lot of people. Many people right out of the gate just use generic as their brand and they're able to post products right away. Some people have to go through the G10 exemption steps. And if you need help with that, Printify's got you covered right here with all the steps, okay? I already have my G10 exemption, so I'm gonna go ahead and check that box and I'm gonna hit complete setup. Okay, and you can see we are connected, all right? It used to be hard, now it's done in a matter of minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and click the Publish Your Products button, and then it takes you to the My Products page, which for my Amazon store that I just connected for the first time. So we're gonna go ahead and create a product. Now, I also wanted to point out that there's a tab for personalizable products, which is some foreshadowing because that is a great way to stand out and increase your conversion rate. Just basically a whole bunch of positive things for your presence on Amazon. So again, this video is going to be dedicated to selling personalizable products on Amazon through Printify with HelloCustom, streamlining everything on the back end. It doesn't get any better than this, guys. I mean, it's 2025. Treat yourself to some advanced technology and leveraging AI in your business to get ahead, right? That's what I'm gonna walk you through step by step in this video. So next, I wanted to just show you some of the basics here so you get familiar with your Printify to Amazon integration. Under my stores, you can see here I've got my new Amazon store listed. There's a gear icon. If you click that, you can configure your store settings. So here's just a brief run through of what I'm using. My store name, I set to Ryan's Method. My brand name, I set to Ryan's Method, but I would recommend for you, if you're following step by step, to instead of using Ryan's Method, put generic, okay? Unless you want to go through the G10 application to use a brand name other than generic. I don't think there's that much of a benefit to doing that though, for real. Like Amazon and Etsy are pretty separate. Like on Etsy, people are familiar with the shop concept. On Amazon, if you don't either set up like a trademarked brand registered brand, or through Amazon ads, you can actually set up like a kind of a fake store. If you don't do that, then when you set up a brand and someone clicks it, it's the equivalent of performing a search on Amazon for those keywords. So it's not nearly as important on Amazon. And I don't want it to get in the way of you getting set up on Amazon, because I know a lot of people that get started and then they kind of drop the ball and then it just fizzles out and they never actually post their first product. My goal is to get you through posting that first product. So use generic as your brand name is my recommendation. Under GPSR, General Product Safety Regulation, I put, I don't intend to sell on Europe. That would be a whole separate Seller Central account on like sellercentral.amazon.co.uk or, .fr.it, etc. They actually used to have, and I assume probably still have, a pan-European program where you can pay for a single extra Seller Central account and access all 5 markets for the price of one. I used to do that and sell FBA that way. Fun fact, I also sold print on demand that way, using the Printful integration back in the day. But I just didn't think it was really worth trying to maintain because, I don't know, it just was a lot of extra work. It wasn't as streamlined as I'd hoped. So next, the ship from address, I use Printify default. And as you can see here, the return address will be the location where the product was printed. I'm completely cool with that. I don't want a bunch of returns getting sent to my house. Don't expect a lot of returns, but it's a function of the volume of sales you make. If you make a lot of sales, inevitably some percentage get returned. Like I've gone through that before where I just had like massive amounts of products that were returned that just added up over time. I would have to go donate them once or twice a year. I'm not trying to deal with that. So I'm all good with them getting shipped back. And honestly, on Amazon, I try to use returnless refunds so that I don't have to pay for an extra shipping label for a customer to return it. If they want a refund, I just give them their money and I say, hey, please keep it, donate it, etc. Quick tip there. Under order settings, I use the order routing on Printify, where basically if the printer that you intended to use for fulfillment runs out of inventory or is really backed up or something like that, this allows them to, essentially what they say here, to ensure the best price and fastest delivery, they will reroute your order automatically so you don't have to like deal with that headache. If you have a high volume of orders, which should be everybody's goal, yes, I would say leverage this. Again, it's automating it behind the scenes, and the maximum cost that you're willing to incur, you get to set that. I love that they do that, by the way, so that they don't just like, I don't know, automatically reroute you to a competitor printer in their network that charges you a significant amount more. I have mine set to the default of $2. And then you can see allow routing for similar product matches if exact is unavailable. So a lot of times, like if you sell a print on demand t-shirt, there are a lot of very similar brands and the customer will not have a clue like that you swapped from a Gildan 64,000 to a Gildan 5,000 or a Bella Canvas 3001 t-shirt. You know what I mean? They're so similar. And then activate my upgrade to Printify Choice. I've got that also checked. Printify Choice is essentially looking at a bunch of different metrics to establish like who is the best printer for a specific product. Because as I mentioned, like I just named 3 really popular types of t-shirts, and there are many printers who can print those types of t-shirts in the same sizes and colors. So how do you decide who to go forward with? Well, instead of you having to spend like hours researching and trying to figure it out, and also keep in mind, these metrics do change over time. Things like average fulfillment time, pricing, etc. All those things change, and pricing applies to the product and the shipping. So if you use Printify Choice, they will figure that out for you. That's my preferred method. Order approval. So I like to do automatic order approval. Again, I want everything automated. Now notice you can do automatically within an hour or 24 hours. I actually prefer 24 because if you're a seasoned print-on-demand seller, you already know what I'm about to say. For some reason, a decent number of customers will order and then the same day, but maybe not instantly right afterwards, request to cancel. And you can catch a bunch of these cancellations by just waiting a little bit. 24 hours, I mean, that's kind of significant. You might be able to get away with like setting the time and just doing 12 hours, but give it some time, I would say, a little bit of a buffer just to, I don't know. I mean, some of you guys might want it to just get production started right away, and I get that. I wouldn't fight you on it, but if somebody requests to cancel on Amazon specifically, and you say, oh, production already started, and you ship them their product, a lot of times, they're going to get their refund if they want it. That's Amazon's MO. They want happy customers. So if it's at your expense as the seller, hey, it is what it is. So, all right, tracking notifications. I don't need tracking emails. Under here, delayed orders, manually sent to production. So due to shipping restrictions from some print providers and carriers, orders that cannot be delivered or have delayed delivery status are set on hold. You can send delayed orders to production manually or enable automated sending to production. If there's a significant delay, I want to know about that. So I put that on manual. And then daily order updates, you can turn that off or keep it enabled by default there. And last, branding. Under branding, there's package inserts that are optimal. I do not use these, but I want to make you guys aware that this is there. It's not a bad idea if you do have like your own brand. You have to kind of get familiar with Amazon's rules. They really don't want you trying to like take an Amazon customer and bring them to your website where you collect their email. Even though that's a great idea, Amazon has some pretty strict rules about like inserts and how they work. So it's like, you got to get familiar with that. That's a whole separate video topic on its own. So it's not a bad idea, but it also costs you a little bit more, 15 cents per insert or 10 cents with Printify Premium. And then gift messaging, you can enable that here. That's completely up to you as well. All right, so let's add our first product. I'm gonna go ahead and click catalog on the left-hand side. Here are all the different product types, and these aren't even all encompassing, that are available in Printify's massive catalog. Now I went ahead for this video and just went with a t-shirt. I actually made 3 different products. I'll show you them later. But just clicking t-shirts, you have so many different types of t-shirts to choose from, as I alluded to earlier. Now I decided to go with the Gildan 5000, which has a really nice starting price point. Now it does say from $5.89. Keep in mind some factors that change what you actually end up paying are, do you have Printify versus Printify Premium? When it says $5.89, it's going to factor in things like what size is the shirt, what color is the shirt, what printer did you select. So there are some variability, all right? I just wanted to show you that when you go ahead and select that product type, you then have to choose either manually from their list of printers, or like I mentioned earlier, go with Printify Choice. That's what I did here. So I went ahead and just clicked Start Designing down here at the bottom. Now it takes me to the designer. I went ahead and I added my design that I created. Personally, I like to use, Kittl or Adobe Photoshop are pretty much my 2 go-tos, but you can't really go wrong. A lot of people like Canva. When it comes to print-on-demand design, you can't go wrong. It's really ultimately that you create a quality design. And we'll circle back around to design a little bit later when I talk about the HelloCustom integration and making sure that their software can read each element so that it can automate the personalization aspect for you, which is going to save so much time when you blow up on Amazon. side note too, you can also post all the designs and products to Etsy and eBay and anywhere else that you have integrated with your Printify account, and I do recommend that. So on this step, select the colors that you want to include on your product. And also, just so you know, if you select a color where you need to invert the color scheme, one of my favorite things that Printify does is they have this little option hiding out right here that says, make a specific design for this color. So that's how I was able to kind of flip the color scheme on different colors. And you can see up here, I made it available also in red, green, blue, navy, and pink. Okay, next you get to do your SEO, your search engine optimization. Basically, include a title, and underneath there's room to include your bullet points. On Amazon, your bullet points do get indexed, even though they don't carry as much weight as the title. So I always include some bullet points, but I don't spend too much time on them because really your title is what's going to drive your traffic. And then also if you choose to run ads too, that can also contribute. Further down the page, I went ahead and clicked enable personalization. I don't think that's actually going to be required because we are using HelloCustom, which they actually have a little plug for right there in Printify. Okay, so we're going to be essentially using HelloCustom for our personalization. I don't think we have to check that box, but I wanted to also call attention to that in case you're not using HelloCustom, even though I would recommend it as I do. Under shipping, I just use the migrated template, and then I have you manage your shipping templates inside Amazon Seller Central as you would expect. And then down here for pricing, what I did was I selected every SKU, meaning every color plus size combination for these t-shirts. Then I did some math. I want my list price to show up as $19.99. And I know it's in the background here, but under production cost, I looked at the lowest number, which was $741. And I subtracted that from $19.99 and essentially got what I needed to use as an offset to bring my prices up to $19.99. So I set my profit to $12.58, which is really nice. I mean, I could definitely price lower, but when you set a nice profit margin too, hey, it leaves cushions for advertising. I'm not covering that in this video, but I do have, a couple videos on YouTube, and I have a full step-by-step print-on-demand course that I'll link in the description as well that walks through that among many other things. So I set my profit to $12.58. It prices my t-shirts at $19.99. I move on. Okay, there you go. You can see under retail price, $19.99. And it does go up, by the way, for certain sizes. Like 2XL goes up, 3XL goes up, 4XL goes up, 5XL also up. Under published settings, I just use the defaults here. So, it says like only show invariant stocks and hide any out of stock variants. So that means like if your printer that you selected to work with is out of stock for the Navy 5XL specifically, but it has everything else, don't push that to Amazon and set it to in stock, right? Because if it sells, I mean, you wouldn't be out of luck because of Printify's network, right? Someone else in their network will have it in stock, surely, but you kind of get the gist there. It's up to you actually, because I mean, that example I just gave you would work, but depending on what product you sell, you have to make sure other printers you are available to fulfill that product as a fallback, if that makes sense, guys. And if you're a beginner, don't get too complicated. Just, use this right here at the bottom. Only show in-stock variants. Okay, then go ahead and I believe I hit publish, and it'll send that product to Amazon, okay? And it takes you over here to the My Product screen again. Now, here's one thing I just wanted to shout out, is that you can go to More Actions after selecting your product, and then go to Copy to Other Store. So if you have a Etsy store, an eBay store, Shopify store, TikTok shop, whatever, you can easily clone this to your other store in Printify and push it to that sales channel. And this is just one of those core tenets that's been a part of my success story as a print-on-demand seller, is I like to occupy as much online real estate as possible. I don't just want to be on Amazon. I want to be on Amazon and Etsy and eBay, right? I want to be on the primary marketplaces, not only because some people prefer to shop in different places, but also Google, the #1 most trafficked website in the world, indexes those listings and will send traffic to my listings there as well when people go and Google search them. So I want all the above so I can make as much money as possible. And don't forget, don't lose sight of the fact that like we're focused on scaling, because with Printify and HelloCustom, we get automated fulfillment and automated personalization. You know what I mean? It's couldn't be easier. And again, treat yourself to this technology. It's 2025. This stuff wasn't available just years ago. You know what I mean? So here we go. Next, we need to jump into Amazon Custom, because we are going to sell personalized products on Amazon. It's not a requirement. You could also just essentially hard code, as I would say, my former web developer programmer days. You could just hard code it where it can't be changed. but why not give ourselves that edge over our competition that don't offer custom products? A lot of people just they're not interested. They don't do this extra step. Signing up for Amazon Custom takes minutes. And I believe within like 30 minutes to an hour, it's fully like approved on your Seller Central account and you can start using it. So I'll drop links to everything we covered, by the way, in the description. So you can just follow step by step, including signing up for Amazon Custom, which by the way is free, okay? So you can see here how to get started. First, register for Amazon Custom. And before that, you need to have your professional seller account. It actually breaks it down step by step for you here. Step 2, configure your customizations on the specific products that you want to offer as custom. For instance, on my Amazon seller account, not every product that I sell is customizable, but the ones that are, I go in and I add the customization. And then I, of course, sync those customizations with HelloCustom, which I'm going to show you. Step 3, fine tune your listings. Step 4, fulfill customized orders. And that's where Printify comes in, doing that for us. That means I can go on vacation and literally be making like hundreds of sales. I come back, the business is on autopilot. That should be everybody's goal. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We've gotten through Amazon Custom. It only takes a few minutes, guys. And then we're going to go and add customization to a product. If you've never gone through Amazon Custom, then you've never seen this, right? Because you can go into your inventory screen and you can select your listing that you want to offer customization on, and you will not see this option until you're in Amazon Custom. So what I'm going to do, and you can see here's 3 different products that I made that are customizable. It's got a photo of a dog, it's got the name, and then it's got the optional subtext underneath. It's actually Pablo, one of my chihuahuas. Nice little cartoonized photo there. So what I did here in my inventory screen is I found the ornament that I added from Printify to Amazon. And you know, the ornament's going to be a lot easier, I think, for this demo because it only has the one SKU, whereas the t-shirt's got a bunch of SKUs because it's all the, you know, size plus color combinations. So go ahead, click that in your inventory. Make sure you click the parent listing because you can expand that little caret and you'll see the child listings. Go ahead and make sure it's the parent listing, which is what you see by default. It's usually the one at the very top in terms of the rows, and click add or edit customization information. It should take you to a screen that looks something like this. Okay, this is, and by the way, Amazon's known to change their user interfaces. So if you're watching this video in like 2026, 2027, it may have changed. Just wanted to throw that out there. I've been doing this long enough that I know they like to change stuff around, but this is the current customization interface. And you can see here that the first thing says, manage your surfaces and customizations. We're going to be using HelloCustom to automate the personalized aspects so that, again, it's as scalable as possible. They only support one surface. Okay, so we're only going to do the one surface, but that's going to work just fine for the purposes that we're doing here with a ornament with the 3 custom elements, the photo, the name, and the subtext. So I just wanted to make that clear. What we're going to do first is we need to basically upload a picture of the product. Okay, and there's different ways you can go about this. It's not a requirement that you do it exactly the way I'm showing you, but this is the way I recommend. This is the way I've been doing it. So I go over to Printify. I'm going to right click the mockup that it generated for my ornament, and I'm going to save image as. Okay, I'm going to save that to my computer. Then I'm going to upload it over here to right here where it says drag and drop. I'm going to upload it right there as the preview image. Okay, then customers are going to see that when they find our product listing, and instead of saying add to cart, it's going to say customize. Okay, when they click that, it's going to pop up, and I'm going to show you it as we go along. Next up, we need to add our customizations. I mentioned we have the 3 elements. Okay, the first one we're going to add is image. So when we click right here that says add customization, and you can have up to 15 customizations. The first one I'm going to do, and you can do them in any order you want if you're following along, I'm going to say image. Okay. Now, when you add a custom image, you're going to have to, first and foremost, say if it's required or not for the customer. Typically, if it's an image, it is required. So that is checked by default on Amazon. You can then provide a label. So I called it photo. Now you could say photo of dog. You can call it whatever you want. I think photo is pretty self-explanatory since I'm only asking for a single image. Okay. You can add additional instructions right here if you choose. You can add recommended resolutions. It's not really required. I mean, especially one little trick here, guys, if you're watching, if you cartoonize the images, then they can submit crappy low resolution photos, and cartoonizing it will fix it anyways. Okay. Like this little photo of Pablo, like when I took it, it was a really blurry, crappy photo. And when I ran it through Cartoonizer, I absolutely fell in love with it. I love that photo, this cartoonized version. And the cartoonizer did all that for me, okay? I can drop a link to the cartoonizer that I use in the description as well, in case anybody was gonna ask. But also like AI can do it for you. So I mean, you have a ton of options, right? Don't feel like you only have to use the one that I use. And then, okay, so that's our custom image. By the way, the label that you put here is gonna match up with the label in HelloCustom. So just remember that. So that's why I like to keep my labels simple as well. I literally call it photo. So in HelloCustom, when I select the image and where it goes, the custom image, I'm gonna call it photo. One last note, you're gonna have to place the custom image. So what we usually do is click somewhere in like the corner and make it like 1 pixel by 1 pixel so that it doesn't do a real true live preview. The reason for that is because like chances are the customer's image that they send is you're gonna need to like remove the background and stuff. So just basically click somewhere to appease Amazon because they'll require it. But what it's gonna do over here under size is it's going to say like 1 pixel width by 1 pixel height. That'll appease Amazon. And then on the back end, when we get their photo, we can do all the modifications before, making it look good, because chances are what they send is not going to look great. Next, we're going to add our other 2 customizations. They're both text elements, but notice I'm suggesting that we select data instead of text. The reason for that, guys, is if you select text, the customer is going to be able to customize the color of the text and the font. I don't this is kind of a debate, and I guess it depends on what you're selling. I don't need the customer getting over analysis paralysis. I don't need them feeling like they have to give me too many inputs. I want them to be like, hey, I'm going to give you the photo. I'm going to give you my dog's name, and then I'm going to give you the optional subtext. Okay. I don't want them worrying about what color the font should be or what font family. So when you do data instead of text, it basically functions the same, but it doesn't offer the color or the font, okay? So I hit data, I label it name, okay? I didn't do any extra instructions. I put some sample text and I correlated it to what they see in my demo image. So I put under the sample text, Pablo. So then they get the idea like, oh, okay, this is me asking for the name. And they glance over at the little demo image and they see the name Pablo there and they're like, okay, that whatever I type here is what's going to show up there. I also decided to, under characters allowed, do all caps text only, because I am going to force it to all caps and it's going to be text only. I set the character limit to 1 character minimum, 20 character max, because I only have so much room on this ornament. Lines of text allowed, I kept it as the default 1. For the next input, this is the subtext. I labeled it subtext. I put the sample text, the Chihuahua. Again, I just matched what's in the demo. I did include some extra instructions. I made it optional, so I just put under instructions in parentheses, optional appears underneath name. I set the character limit again. And under characters allowed, I just did all characters, excluding emojis, because this one doesn't have to be forced to uppercase. Okay, then you go ahead and save the changes, and Amazon is kind of notorious for it taking a long time to propagate new listings, also to save your changes or process. If you make changes to listings, like you just want to do something simple like change the title, upload new images, set up the customization, Amazon is notorious for just taking a long time. So it says 30 minutes. It may take longer. Just know that, okay? Next, eventually when those changes take, you should be able to go on the front end, find your product listing, and it should look a little bit different. It should say customize now instead of add to cart on the main listing. So when you click customize now, you then get to see how your inputs look. Okay, so you can see here, it's got the upload your image for the photo. It's got the name field and it's got the subtext field just as we set it up. And sometimes you do a live preview. You can mess around, you can have fun with it. There's not a right or wrong single way to do this, but just understand the live preview. The biggest thing I would say is if you're going to do any sort of tinkering with an image, which I think in most cases, especially with dogs, people love their pets. The pet items sell extremely well, but most people are going to need you to go in and kind of save the photo, remove the background, cartoonize, make other, tweak the brightness, something like that, change the hue. If you try to do the live photo preview, it may negatively impact your conversion rate. That's why I would say do it the way that we showed you here. Okay. And then they can add to cart and they can purchase. When you make an order, guess what it's doing? It goes to HelloCustom, enter HelloCustom. That's the next step of this video, where it is going to detect the order. It's going to add all the personalized elements, everything you see here that we asked from the end user. It's going to essentially rebuild the entire design file. And then we get to go in, take a quick peek, do one click approval, send it right to Printify where it goes into the order queue, gets fulfilled and gets shipped to our customer, tracking gets uploaded, and all that was required from us was that one click approval, guys. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. That's why I keep coming back to like, you know, it's 2025, like treat yourself to this experience as a seller, because I know people that have spent I mean, I don't even want to tell you, I know people that have spent like insane amounts of money to build this software out, and they kept it private to themselves. They didn't want to license it because that was their edge back in the day. Now HelloCustom saying, no, pay us, you know, a minimal fee, and we will essentially, they may still have the lifetime deal, by the way. If they do, I would just check that out. And essentially you get the automated personalization. You know what I mean? You can't beat that. So if you're not already on HelloCustom, I will drop a link in the description. If they have the lifetime deal, I'll try to find a link to that as well. I got to hit up Steven, the founder, and see if that's still available. If not, though, I'll put my link anyways. And you're going to need to go ahead, once you're in HelloCustom, add your Amazon store. So again, it's just like how we connected Printify earlier. Click connect to Amazon. This pop-up should look familiar. Go ahead, opt in, check that checkbox, and click confirm. In 2 clicks, you are now connected. It's going to take a little bit of time behind the scenes to essentially like download all of your inventory into HelloCustom so it recognizes your products. In this case, we needed to recognize our Christmas ornament that we were working on earlier. Depending on how big your catalog is on Amazon, depending on how long you've been selling, it could take, you know, a decent amount of time, but if you're new, it's not going to take long at all. Okay. Next, we're going to hit templates on the left-hand navigation, and you're going to go ahead and click add new template. Okay. Now here we get to either upload a PNG or a PDF. HelloCustom works best with a PDF, in my opinion. You can also do the PNG option if for some reason the PDFs don't work, but then you're going to have to kind of go in and kind of recreate your design in HelloCustom if you go with PNG. We're going to use PDF because that's optimal. Okay. I know a lot of you guys probably use Canva. I mentioned I use Photoshop. I'm able to export PDFs from Photoshop easily. The only thing is they have to be smaller than 15 megabytes. So keep that in mind. If you're on Canva though, all you have to do is go in the top right. Like, well, first of all, create your design, then go in the top right, go to file, download, under file type, go ahead and go to PDF print. Okay. And then under the next setting, color profile, go to RGB and then click download. Okay. And then you've got your PDF. Go ahead and upload it right here. You can drag and drop into HelloCustom and you're good to go. What it's going to do next, it's going to take you to the, it's not really the design. I don't know what to call this part. It's really where we're tagging. Okay. So you're not designing. It may look kind of like designers that are built into Printify, for instance, but here we're just going to tag the elements in our design template so that HelloCustom recognizes them. So you're going to want to tag where the custom image goes. Go ahead and do that. And then of course, label it, match the label to what we did here in Amazon Custom or in Amazon Seller Central where we're customizing. Make sure those line up. So I called it photo in Amazon and then I call it photo in HelloCustom. Boom, perfect. Next, I went ahead down here. I selected where we put the dog's name and I went ahead and I labeled it name. Now HelloCustom will also try to pull in those labels from Amazon as well. Okay. And then you guessed it, the last one where I put the subtext, we're going to label it subtext, right? There we go. We're good to go now. Next up, go ahead and click product variations in the top right corner. Assuming that the Amazon integration is finished downloading your catalog, it's going to recognize this color, hopefully, or not this color, this product, hopefully this SKU. Okay. And there's a search feature so you can go ahead and select multiple if you need to, right? Like if it's a coffee mug that's in 11 ounce and 15 ounce, you'd have to select both of those. If it's a t-shirt, the t-shirt example I had earlier had like 55 SKUs because I had so many colors and sizes. You're going to want to select all those and then go ahead and click update. Okay, so now HelloCustom knows what to look for. Last thing, go to publish and then set it to active. Guys, after that, you're good to go. When you make an order, you're going to see this on your approval queue and you'll see a little number there saying, hey, you see the little number 1? It's saying, hey, you have 1 order to approve. Now, you don't have to go in, like without HelloCustom, you're going to have to set the, the image. You're going to have to set the name, the dog name. You're going to have to set the subtext. HelloCustom is going to pull it all in here for you. Now, one thing to mention though, because I did talk about like cartoonizing and removing the background, it's not going to do that for you. So you might have to go in, grab the customer's photo and do that yourself. All right. And then go ahead. By the way, if you need to go and make any edits, just hit the little dots here. Go ahead and do that in HelloCustom. Then go ahead, click approve, and it'll send it to Printify. It'll send it to the right printer. Like I mentioned, they'll fulfill it usually within, it depends on what product you're selling, but most products I feel like are like a day, 2 days maybe, before it gets shipped out, and tracking gets automatically added. That notifies your customer. You stay in good standing with Amazon. And that's it. You just scale from there. You know, Amazon will continue to reward you as you get products, get orders fulfilled on time. You get positive reviews, generate more sales because you offered customization when other people didn't. All those things will lead to more sales. It's called the Amazon flywheel effect. Basically, you just need to do a good job at everything you do and give customers what they want. You'll be rewarded over time. It kind of snowballs like it's a flywheel. So anyways, one-click approval is also an option if you can just take the photo as is from your customer. I'm speaking to a specific example here too with this, what I did here. A lot of people, they'll have a static graphic and all they ask for from the customer is just, you know, 1 or 2 pieces of text. You know what I mean? Like if it's Mother's Day, you might just say like first Mother's Day, and then the year could be customized, 2024, 2025, etc. You know what I mean? So you'd ask for a single piece of text. HelloCustom would pull that in, and all you'd have to do when you come here is click approve, and then you're good to go. You're off to the races. You know, when I say off to the races, you're done. You click once and you're good. Okay, that's about it for this video, guys. I wanted to also shout out HelloCustom did something insane. They offered a 1,000 design bundle of customizable design templates for only $97, which I spoke to Steven. I think he regretted it afterwards because it's like way too cheap. $97, you're paying what, like 10 cents per design, something crazy? My math might be wrong. No, I think it is 10 cents per design, something like that. I use it, by the way, and I mean, you can see kind of a preview of a lot of these design templates right here. I'm only telling you about this because I truly believe this is one of the best deals you'll ever find for print on demand. They're Canva templates. So what essentially you do is you pull them up in Canva, you make a few changes. Now I did a video where I talked about what changes I would make to a bunch of these templates because you do need to make them unique in some way, shape, or form. You can't just use them as is. So I did a video specifically showing how I would do that. I'll link to that in the YouTube cards right here, okay? But I just wanted to make you guys aware, and I'll link to this in the description of this video because it really is a great value, especially if you intend to use Amazon Custom. And like I mentioned, Printify lets you clone your products to other stores. If you're on Etsy, you can enable personalization in a single click. So if you're going to do it on Amazon, it would be insane to me not to do it on Etsy as well. So I'll drop a link to the HelloCustom design bundle in the description for $97. And I wanted to shout out, I just dropped a video recently where I talked about a big upcoming trend that personalized products are absolutely crushing. That is the end of school year trending niche. And I gave you a bunch of sub niches related to that. I think 6 different sub niches. All of them are ripe for offering customization. I'll drop a link to that video in the description. I'll also link to it in the YouTube cards right here. And that's basically it, guys. That's what I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you for bearing with me for however long I've been talking. I know it's been a while. If you found it helpful, all I ask is please use that like button to let the YouTube algorithm know. And like I said, everything is going to be linked in the description, so check that out as well. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with another new video.